of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Don't underestimate
the power of a single
conversation.
It could change your whole life.
INCRadio Chatline.
conversations that matter.
Hey, Nate, I'm just curious, but you might have to think a while back because, you've been married for a while now. But do you remember when you were single, how it is you would approach somebody you liked?
Oh, man. Yeah, vaguely. I mean, it depends because I think there were several technological advances that kind of, came into play when it came to talking to somebody.
What do you mean?
Well, like social media came about, cell phone use came about, email. I mean, it goes back. So, yeah.
So was there social media at the time when you were still single and trying to date people?
Yeah, there was social media. Let me see. What was the earliest one I can remember? Probably like Asian Avenue, Zanga. There was a whole bunch of these little ones that sprung up that my friends made me get because I think they wanted me to be more social more than I wanted to be.
Okay. I don't even think I remember this, but that's what we're going to talk about today on Chatline is how do you actually talk to somebody that you like? Now, this one is kind of hard for me because like for me, if I don't like you, it's so easy for me to talk to you. But if I like somebody, it's so hard and I get so nervous. And that's why I wanted to see like, what suggestions do you have, especially for the single people nowadays? How do you approach somebody you like? Not, no texting, none of that stuff. Not social media. It has to be like an in-person kind of conversation.
Well, I like what Brother Renz wrote. He said, "Milady, I'm approaching you with romantic intent." That's how you do it.
That's now, is that going to scare somebody away?
Well, I mean, you should be yourself, but maybe don't be too much of yourself all at once.
That's true. That's true. Like, okay, so like for me, when I'm trying to talk to somebody, first of all, nowadays it's so hard to tell if somebody's single or if they're married or if they're attached to somebody, right? So I will just go do like normal conversation first, like, hey, how's it going? Or, ooh, I love your blue eyes, just compliment them on one thing, right? And then as I'm talking to them and trying to go, oh man, I go, your wife must be happy about this and this. And, and then I wait for them to say, oh no, I'm not married.
I've heard that.
That's my way.
I've heard that before. They're
What do
like,
you
oh,
mean?
your girlfriend must be so lucky. And I'm like, girlfriend? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I don't have a girlfriend.
See, because I think we're just trying to find out, like, one, are you single or not? Because, nowadays, even if people are married, they don't necessarily wear a ring or anything.
That maybe our generation employed, they would just kind of like state that assumption so that somebody could say the otherwise.
What do you mean? Say that again.
Like you said, you would say, oh, your girlfriend must be so lucky. And then they would say, no, I don't. Is that common? Because this is like, you're the second person I've heard.
Yes.
That uses that.
Because for me, if I'm trying to talk to somebody and they're already taken, why am I going to waste my time?
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to get it from the start. And so and I think people could tell because like I'll do the whole like, yeah, oh, your wife must be happy like this and that. And they're like, oh yeah, they are. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, have a great day. And I think they realize I just cut off conversations right there because, like, why, why go any further?
It's a soft way of, trying to gauge somebody's availability, without being too direct or, just to be polite, because, yeah, we want to make sure we also respect like boundaries. So I can respect that.
Exactly. And so there's out there, people are saying, oh, if they like you, they'll make it obvious. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, that depends on the person. Some people they like to really play the cards close to their chest when it comes to whether or not they're going to make it obvious or not.
Uh-huh. See, for me, I don't make it obvious only because, I don't like rejection. And if I make it obvious and then they don't like me, I'm like, oh man. And so for me, I don't make it obvious if I like somebody. And so that's why for the guys, I don't know, do they make it obvious or do they not? Because how are we supposed to know?
Yeah, that's tough. Well, I could remember like back in the day, maybe you would look through your MySpace network, and then maybe you just no, let me just add a friend. I'm not sure if I remember how that worked, if you added friends or not on MySpace, but yeah, you would add them, and then you could dig into their profile and learn a bit about them. And then I know one thing that works really well is like those it was like a questionnaire of like, different things you can answer. And those are like really popular in the MySpace days. There'd be like 100 questions just about like your personality, your likes and dislikes. And you would fill that out, you would post it on your profile, but then you could also read about what other people put down. So you can kind of get to know people, in a roundabout kind of way. And then, maybe you might, quote unquote, slide into the DMs. You might ask them a question or, make a comment to try to break the ice.
Romy put something on here, says, do corny pickup lines still work? See, I can't ask you that because no one should be picking up on you, right? But, the thing is, I think like if someone can make me laugh, I think that's a start. I don't like getting approached, I think, so seriously. So I think like if people try to be funny. And so I'm just curious, like with Haromi, what is a corny pickup line? That I want to know.
He put one down. Hey, what's brown and sticky? A stick.
Okay, I don't know if that's funny.
Well, see, if you can gauge too, like maybe how goofy the person might be, if they might be on the same wavelength as your humor, because that's another thing too. Especially around that time in the 2000s, depending on the types of jokes, because with like the internet proliferating, different types of comedy, you can kind of gauge like what their sense of humor is based on like how they would react to a joke. So if they kind of like roll their eyes at like a corny pickup line and you're just trying to be like corny and cute, then you might be like, all right, maybe this person's not going to gel well with me because, I'm all about like corny jokes and whatnot.
Well, exactly. Like I said, I mean, for me, sometimes, like, I think sometimes you laugh because it is so corny, or you laugh because it's like a pickup line that everybody knows. And so I think that makes it funny, because, not everyone's creative and can come up with a way to pick somebody up, right? Like what's the pickup line you've heard or you've said, Nate?
No, I've never used pickup lines. I feel like that was like an internet joke thing that people passed around just for laughs. I don't think anybody actually used it. Did someone ever use a pickup line on you?
I don't think so. Or else I didn't pick up on it. What about you, Melvi?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Not that I remember. Not that I can remember. I mean, if somebody used one, then I guess it's not memorable.
I mean, I would read some pickup lines, and all that stuff, but like the whole, oh, you must be tired because you've been running through my mind kind of thing.
See, I think those were just corny jokes that were passed around the internet. I don't think that was a real thing.
But people were using it. I just thought it was funny. So Melanie,
I have never heard of someone actually using a pickup line in real life.
I have. No, you know why? Because back in the days when we were younger and we were all single, we didn't have cell phones and all that stuff. So you really had to pick, really had to talk to people. And I remember my guy friends would use the cheesiest pickup lines just to see who could actually, get be able to ask a person out. And so it was they were trying to come up with the corniest line or something to get attention so that they can talk to a girl. But Melanie did say that you did some kind of joke when you were trying to pick up on her. So do you remember what the joke was? Why are you laughing?
She's outing me. She's there in the comments outing me.
I specifically asked her because you said you didn't use anything, and I don't know. Guys have to use some kind of line. There's no way they're just gonna say, "Hi, I like you."
Well,
Like,
I knew
what?
she was from the Philippines, so like American humor, she wouldn't be too familiar with. And like
Okay.
growing up, this is like the dumbest joke. She mentions it's something about a chicken, and it's when you
Uh-huh.
say "guess what," and the person says "what," and you say "chicken butt," right? It's
Uh-huh.
it's the dumbest thing ever when you look back on it. I don't think I've ever used it in like 20 years, but I just said that I guess just to be corny and quirky at the time. And I think it worked because we're married now, right?
Well, did she laugh though?
I don't remember. I don't know if she laughed or if she was like an awkward laugh.
See, but when we were kids, we would say that all the time. That's why I think like back then it was normal. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Yeah, there was oh man, there were so many dumb things we said, like being 80s and 90s kids.
See, look at that. But Matt is trying to copy mine. Goes, are you tired because you've been running through my mind all night? And then no, oh, and then I remember one of my other guy friends would go up to a girl and says, "Hey, you know what? I lost my number. Can I borrow yours?"
This is becoming a pickup line.
Well,
Memory
those
lane.
those were some of the ones, right? But no, for real though. So how could you approach someone you like now? I mean, like I said, for you it's different, Nate, because you're already married and everything. But like, how could you go up to somebody you don't know them? You just find them attractive, and you want to see if it's going to go anywhere. How would you go up to them and talk to
Oh,
them?
let's see what Melvi has to say. I've been stealing too much of the spotlight and embarrassing myself.
No, you're fine. I can sit here and listen to you all day long. Let's see. If it's someone I like, as I've gotten older, I've learned to suppress my emotions and just separate the two. I don't know how I do it now, but before I would be really, really shy. I will not go up to the person. I would have to ask somebody to either introduce me if I don't know the person yet. But if I already know the person, then I would befriend the person and see how they communicate. That's when I can tell if we have chemistry, because the minute they stop communicating, because I still get shy every now and then, of course, it's just normal, especially if it's someone that you really like. But if for some reason we connect, then I would start observing. And then from there, I would then get to know the person. And I'm a believer that if your foundation is friendship, I think it's a lot better than compared to just a quick, hey, let's just go out because I think we feel like we connect and let's just do this and get it over with type of deal. So I'm more of, I want to get to know you and your hobbies, your habits, the way you are. I'm not, I guess you can say when I was younger, I was picky, but now it's more of, again, as I've gotten older, it's more of that where I'm looking for someone I can just spend the rest of my life with.
Yeah.
Not, no more gaming, no more trying this out, no more doing that. If you want to commit, great. If not, then you can move on to someone else.
So if somebody came up to you and said, "Do you have a Band-Aid? Because I just fell for you." Is that a good one? I thought that was a good one.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, depending on how deep the cut is.
Or maybe this is what you're looking for, right? So it's this, hey, you single, work, marriage, yes, nice.
I like what Jeff
Is that
said
what you're
though
looking for?
about you need a wingman/wing girl. So I feel like a great opportunity to be able to get to know someone and talk to someone where there's a little bit less pressures with like friend groups. So
Yeah.
if you meet someone
I
through
agree.
a friend group and you're just hanging out, it just
Yeah.
comes naturally to have a conversation.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
Rome just posted that also. He said, go out with groups first, find ways to talk to them, and then go from there, which is true. And I don't know, for me, like sometimes having a wingman or a wingwoman backfires, because I've seen it in the past where my guy friends wanted a wingman and girl ended up going out with the wingman instead of with him, So like you can't do that. Especially if your wingman is hotter than you, you can't have that. You got to get a wingman that's average looking, but not hotter.
You cannot be thinking like that.
No, but you have
No,
to.
but I get it, but yes, I agree. It can be a problem.
If that happens, that's not really your wingman then.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Okay.
And see, that's why. And that, I think that's why it's good. Like if a single person, their wingman is somebody married, because then the married person won't do anything anymore, right? And he's just really there to support his friend. See, I think that works out well. But if you're both single, and then you're both good looking, then good luck to see who gets the girl, right?
It brings me back when was it? I think I was in freshman in high school, and my best friend, she knew I was very shy. So she found out I had a crush on someone, on one of our classmates, and she knew that I didn't want to talk to him, and I just didn't want to make any moves. So she did it for me. So I've been writing letters. So we just kind of exchange, letters. We would exchange letters just to get to know each other, because my parents were also very strict back in the day. So I had to, be careful. I mean, he was also a member, but we were still in high school and we were young. So my best friend was basically the bridge. And in the end, just like what you said, Arnie, because she was hotter, she was more beautiful, she was more outgoing, she was more aggressive. And then they ended up together behind my back. I didn't find out until I saw them holding hands on campus. So I was heartbroken, because she could have just told me. She could have just said, hey, by the way, he's no longer interested in you. He's now, talking to me. We're kind of getting to know each other, and this happened. So I'm very sorry. So you know what I told her? I said, you may have won him, but you've lost your best friend. Goodbye.
See?
You guys go have fun.
And to go with that, see, that's why when Ren's put on here, I don't need a wingman, I work solo. That's why you work solo, because you never know what could happen, right?
Yeah.
I also
But,
feel like none of my friends ever knew like what my type was, because they were always trying to like hook me up with people, and I'm like, who are you hooking me up with? Like, I don't want to be with these people.
Well, did you ever tell them what your type was?
No, I mean, well, also growing up at the time when I was like in college, I'm like, I can't have a relationship right now. Like, I work at a car wash for like $8 an hour. Like, I can barely support myself. I'm covered in like grime every day. I'm like, I'm not in a state to be dating right now. So quit trying to hook me up with people.
So when did you realize, like, were you done with school when you finally realized you were ready to start dating? Because I'm just curious, because like that, you have kids who are in high school who think, oh, okay, let's go ahead and start dating. But are they mature enough? And two, if anything happens, are they financially stable to be able to do that? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
at what point
Yeah,
did
after I graduated and I had a job, I was like, all right, I'm ready now. I put it off. Rightfully, I put it off because there's no way I could really support it. So now I'm actually ready to really, try to move on to the next step.
Yeah. See, and I think that's a thing, because, you could like pick up on people and have fun and all that stuff, but, you have to be prepared like for the future. And so if you're not ready yet, then maybe that's not a good idea to start talking to people. But someone else said, you have to make the first move or you'll lose your chance. Do you guys agree or disagree with that statement?
Yeah, I agree. I can agree with that. If the way I see it now, if you really, really like someone, then you're not gonna let the possibility of not, taking that chance get away from you. But if you don't take that chance, then you have to also think maybe this person isn't really that worth it. If I'm not willing to come out, of my shyness to approach this person.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because for me, I don't have that mentality, because like I said, I don't like rejection. So I don't like to make the first move. And that's probably why I'm still single, because, I'm still waiting for someone else to make the first move. Right. But as I'm getting older, And I'm starting to realize, okay, maybe now I do have to start approaching people. And so I do now, but I try to work into the conversation, oh, your wife must be so proud of you. For them, oh, no, I'm not married. Oh, then your girlfriend must be, right? And they say, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. Right. Because
Yeah,
I don't know.
like you said, like rejection is not fun, but there's the risk reward. You have to take that risk if you ever want to have any possibility of getting into the relationship. But that's
Yeah.
why we talked about like there's ways to kind of soften the I guess the moment where you might admit to somebody that you do like them. So when you can kind of gauge each other and you feel like you're both on that same wavelength, then it makes it a lot easier to to move on to the next level. You're like, okay, we're not just talking, we're not just friends, now we're a little more exclusive.
Yeah. And when does that exclusive conversation happen?
When?
Yeah, like who, like how did you do? Like, did you tell Melanie, say, hey, okay, I think we like each other, so now we can't see anybody else? How did that conversation go? I'm just curious.
I mean, it's just admitting, and I think this is common. It's like you just admit, like, hey, I like you, and they say they like you back, and you're like, okay. And then I guess for our generation, it's like, all right, it's time to change that Facebook status.
Yeah, I guess. So I guess if Facebook doesn't change, then it's not real yet.
And plus, when you change it, it announces it to like everybody on your friends list.
Uh-huh. What about you,
agree.
Melvi? Do you think you have to make the first move or else you lose your chance?
Yes. Yes. I wish I did that when I was younger. I didn't. I was just really quiet. Just like you, Arnie, I don't like rejections, but like what Nate said, when it comes to love, sometimes you just have to be a risk taker because you don't
Yeah.
lose anything. If anything, you gain something, because if you're just sitting there wondering, then you're wasting time. But if you know it already earlier, before you even really fall deeply in love with that person, and if that person doesn't even feel the same way, or especially if they're already planning to be with someone else and you don't know this because you don't confront it, then in the end it's your loss. So yeah, and you know what, I've learned to also give signals. Let's say if I do admire someone, I make eye contact now. Before, I don't make any kind of eye contact. I would just look and smile and then go about my day. But this time, I will show that person, and that person will have an idea that I like them, or I like him or not. And yes, it works. You
See,
just
for
have
me,
to show something. And if they're not
for me,
interested, then they won't move, they won't do anything. And then you already know, okay, it's not meant to be. So I'm gonna move on.
see, but for me, it was different because I wasn't shy at all, even as a younger kid. I was a social butterfly, but I think I was just having so much fun having a whole bunch of friends, and I seen how my friends who were tied down was not having fun because they're like, you can't do that, you can't do this, kind of a thing, right? And I'm like, oh no, I cannot get tied down. And so I never thought I had to talk to somebody or try to make things serious. And then so I mean, that happened up until I think I moved to Texas. And once I got to Texas, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm by myself, because my friends, I don't have friends anymore. Now I'm here by myself. And so I'm like, oh, maybe now it's actually time to start looking for someone. But is it too late? Because
No, it's never too late. Never too late. Love does not discriminate any kind of age. If anything, I think we're meant to be with someone as long as we choose to. Because it's a matter, at the end of the day, it's a matter of choice. It's just knowing when it will happen, and if and when we do get to know people, then there's our chance. So just go get it. Let's go get it, Arnie.
yeah,
Let's go get them.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's where you gotta encourage your friends to hang out a lot more often. so that you can, expand your network and meet other people. And I mean, the other thing too, you might be giving someone a chance you didn't consider before. Because when I first met my wife, I didn't consider her at all at the time because I thought she was underage, actually. But then after I got to know her, and then actually when we hung out, we found out we had similar music interests, and that's kind of what set things off. So at the same time, I wouldn't like write people off right away.
Yeah.
And this is where you have to kind of create those opportunities. So just if you're socially active, you encourage your friend group to hang out and to kind of have that support system, then that really helps, especially if you're kind of anxious about social situations.
See, for me, all my friends are all married. And so that kind of makes it harder because then all their other friends are married. So I'm like, okay, don't you guys have any single friends? And you know what's funny though, is like I have friends in different parts of the world. I have a friend in Australia, in Italy, in Norway, and all that. I'm like, dude, what are you guys doing there? You're not even trying to hook me up. What is going on? So, but I don't know any other way.
I mean, at the same time, it's are you excluding people that you haven't considered? Are your expectations unrealistic?
I make jokes. Ooh, they got to be blue-eyed blonde hair, but that's just like a joke.
No, you're describing Goku from Dragon Ball Z. Like, that's not a real person.
Yes, there are real people, but like I said, I just joke about it. But that's not. They don't necessarily have to be blue-eyed blonde hair, They could be blue-eyed brown hair. They can have blue contacts, I'm just kidding. But, I don't know. I guess if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, right? If whether or not you like them, whether or not it's easy for you to approach them or not, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, right? I think.
Well, I'll just leave it with this.
Will.
The guy needs to make the first move as much as possible.
See, and even though I'm very liberal, I still believe that. And that's why I don't do the first move, because I still think it should be the guy.
Yeah. I mean, granted, you could still, create opportunities for the guy to make
yes,
moves, but still, it really should come from the guy.
Yeah. Just like I think it should be the guy who pays for the first date.
Yeah.
Even though the girl's the one who asked.
No, without that, I paid for our first meal.
That one, no, I would split it. I don't let the guys pay for the first day. I split it.
See, I'm very conservative. I'm very conservative.
It doesn't work out.
Ways, back in the days, the guys paid for stuff. So that's how I'm going to do it.
I'm a 50-50. It's one of those. Yeah. I like that. I like the, because let's say if it doesn't work out, I don't want him telling other people, I was even the one who paid for the first date and we took her to this place and took her to that place. And there he goes, adding up all the receipts in his head.
Oh, well.
And telling his friends. So, yeah, no.
Oh, well.
And now, unless they really insist, then I let them. Then I'll tell them, okay, if we'll ever have a second date, then let me pay for that. So it's a compromise also.
Rome put a good question. Maybe this should be its own topic. What's the definition of a first move?
Ooh, maybe that could be next week's topic if y'all tune in again. But, our time has run out, unfortunately, so we cannot continue our fun discussion. So maybe that will be our topic for next week. Y'all should join us. Thank you all for those who joined and for putting your stuff in the chat. We really appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed this conversation that we had. Tune in again next week. Maybe, like I said, maybe that will be our topic. So tune in next week if you guys have any other suggestions of topics that we should talk about, especially something that you guys would like to hear us having these conversations. Just type it in the chat and we'll be sure to look into it. But thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, see you on Chatline.
I ask, let me always dwell